furniture and objects made from bread are something absolutely new. I mean, I've definitely never come across anything like this before. Just as I've never come across an armchair in these luxurious, gilded, carved spaces, there are pieces of contemporary design. And it's not just that. I really like the lamps, which look like they're made from papier-mâché, as if from compressed paper. But it's not compressed paper, it's... Hello, friends. In this video, we'll take a walk through the events and exhibitions of Paris Design Week 2025, which takes place in September. And unlike previous seasons, I've decided to focus more on the right bank, because usually we mostly visit the galleries on the left bank. And we're starting at Place de la Bastille, because here, right inside the July column, in the rotunda of the July column, Maison Parisian, a gallery, is presenting an installation by the French designer Aude Franjou. This particular textile installation is called Corals of Freedom, and it is a truly imaginative, organic structure that rises up inside the rotunda from the bottom to the top. To be honest, it strongly reminds me of the incredible work of the Portuguese artist Joana Vasconcelos. By the way, we have a video on our channel about her rather extensive exhibition that took place in Lisbon. Here, of course, we see a somewhat different technique of working with textiles. It is, in its own way, remarkable and interesting. The Hôtel de Sully is currently the headquarters of the French National Monuments Organization. That is, from here they manage all, you could say, the state museums and more. And here, traditionally, an exhibition for Paris Design Week is also held. And this time, the works on display are by the Ymer&Malta studio, founded by Vladimir Moskalenko. She works at the intersection of design and art, and her work can be found in many renowned museums. And, really, it's probably no coincidence, because her approach is genuinely very interesting, highly meticulous, and extremely detailed. At the entrance, we see a table made from driftwood. This is a very striking piece that showcases the traditional art of French marquetry. The tabletop beautifully represents intricate eagle wings, meticulously assembled from various shades of this driftwood. As for the base, it is crafted from Japanese wood, using a traditional Japanese style of joinery. The bench is also very interesting. It's quite a recognizable piece, in which nature and an industrial approach are literally at odds with each other. One leg is made from optical glass, meaning it is completely transparent and has no tint whatsoever. On the other side, we see branches of a living tree, as if they are in conflict with the industrial nature of the object. A very interesting series of lamps, which represent various shades of sunset. And as you've probably realized, most of Valeria's inspiration comes from nature. Nevertheless, there is also a series of leather poufs here, inspired by a rather masculine sport boxing. So, what we see are slightly transformed punching bags. Valerie is very passionate about the work and she created a lamp that can be seen as a tribute to his art. But, unlike Nogu, who worked with paper, she used linen, a traditional material for which French manufacturers are very well known. And by the way, she doesn't rule out using modern technologies either. And a couple of poufs were made using 3D printing technology, but again with linen. And I think that's a very interesting approach. And besides the wood marquetry, there's also an object here that you could say is made with stone marquetry. These are table clocks, also with a very smooth, organic shape. And of course, the skillful work with stone is also presented here in the most elegant way. In another medieval palace, called Hôtel de Labyrinth, there's an installation by the young designer Marais. And this installation is called plastic glamping. It's a vivid example of the very trendy upcycling movement. That is, when old things are taken and given a new function. So, from old toys, you can put together everything you need for a luxury outdoor getaway. That is, there's a tent, furniture inside the tent, and furniture in front of the tent. Basically, everything you need, even including a guitar. As part of Paris Design Week, There's also an exhibition of works by young designers, literally students or those who have only recently graduated. It's called Factory, and it's held across 5 locations. And the main partner of this event within the event is the Joseph Gallery. Firstly, the space itself here is really cool, with an atrium and a skylight. And in this ambience, everything looks pretty good. And I have to say, the works themselves are quite good, because usually these sorts of student projects rarely have any practical application, in my opinion, at least. It's often just a flight of fancy, some kind of art, and not always art that's objectively needed. Of course, there are things like that here as well, but there are also a lot of genuinely decent pieces. And of course, the projects are being presented by students from very respectable institutions, I mean educational institutions. Here, for example, there's a joint project, which in my view is quite commercial, between the Commando School and Monoprix, a really impressive piece of work. Somehow, they really resonated with me, perhaps because of their particular sensibility. The works from the Garden of Decorative Arts are quite good, and the ceramics from the School of Art and Design in Limoges are also impressive. It's clear that they're doing well with ceramics there. The students are also doing a fantastic job working with wood. The woodworking is being showcased at its highest level. And there's also a lot of metal furniture, especially folding metal furniture. Folding furniture is experiencing another renaissance. And here, there were several projects featuring this kind of metal furniture. Naturally, attention is also given to sustainable development practices. But here, recycling is done in a way that makes sense. It's not as if everything is being made out of dust and sticks. The items look decent, although lamps made from sausage casings are truly unusual. There's a certain narrative to it, a kind of storyline. So, perhaps it's appealing precisely because of this rather amusing story. And there's an awful lot of cork, a surprising amount of cork for France. After all, it's not exactly a typical material associated with this country, but nevertheless, cork is produced in France as well, though, of course, much less than in Portugal, but still, it exists. I like how China is trying to restore its reputation in the design market and is attempting to showcase some original design. And to do this, they even opened their own creative pavilion as part of Paris Design Week. And there really are some things there that are quite charming. I especially like the interpretation of some of China's traditional craft practices. But, nevertheless, there are also some very literal references here. That is, they're not copies, but they are rather literal references. This applies to Merman's furniture, and also to the console, which very much resembles Aero Arneo's table. But what is unique to China really does look very interesting in the modern interpretation by young designers from the Middle Kingdom. The continuation of the factory exhibition is at a space common, that is, in the space on Common Street. Everything is very simple, but it sounds really cool in French. So, here, I suppose, it's more about crafts, some experiments with upcycling. But, as I've said before and I'll say again, sometimes things made from rubbish are still just rubbish. In other words, not everything in upcycling looks decent. Nevertheless, a few things did stand out. Firstly, there's this screen made from glass blocks, and there's also a lamp made from glass blocks. That's something I saw at Helcom Home, and something I liked at the Maison and Objet exhibition. If you haven't seen that episode, do check it out. There are actually some interesting things in it. And of course, furniture and decorative items. Design pieces made from bread, that's something absolutely new. I mean, I've definitely never come across anything like that. Just as I've never seen Cochet the Deathless chair, a chair made using animal bones. I mean, I have seen furniture made from processed animal products, but this is the first time I've seen real bones used. It's very textured, and I think It could definitely exist somewhere in some interiors as a striking art object. There were also a lot of repeated ideas. It seems like everyone has knitted vases by now. Overall, it's definitely worth a visit. And again, it's worth noting just how much metal furniture there is. During Milan Design Week, there was a huge exhibition at the Buier Gallery dedicated to furniture made from metal. So do check it out as well. It's a very interesting gallery and a fascinating exhibition. And let's finish our tour of the factory exhibition at another gallery, Joseph, which you can find located at 84 Rue de Turenne, if that matters. And I personally think that it really does matter, because it is here that you will find perhaps the most practical and useful items, real, tangible, everyday objects, and they are also quite interesting to look at as well. I really liked the lamps, which look like papier-mâché lamps, like lamps made from compressed paper. But it's not compressed paper, it's Tyvek, a material used for vapor and wind protection in construction. And, accordingly, it seems you can reuse it. So it's a kind of recycling, in a way, and create these rather remarkable lamps. Overall, the lamps here were quite decent, because even the ceramic lamps, despite their comic-like, playful appearance, were also rather charming. There were also very unusual lamps with not decorated glass, but painted, gradient glass. They made for good accents as well. I like light accents on the walls, not just decorative ones. There are some really cool, unusual glass lamps, quite distinctive and expressive, along with large, monumental marble pieces, including, by the way, a lamp with a marble shade. And again, there's metal furniture, stainless steel pieces, which, to be fair, is something of a trend these days, you could say. Right next door, you will find a showroom featuring the incredible works of talented Guatemalan designers whom we had the pleasure of meeting during the Madrid Design Festival. And, basically, almost all the same items are here as well. The poof I liked, which is made from old footballs and mattress springs. There are also some textile pieces, apparently featuring Aztec or Mayan motifs. I can't quite remember now who actually lived in Guatemala back then. An armchair with a stainless steel frame, once again upholstered in some very interesting Guatemalan fabric. But probably the most striking piece, which stood out to me both there and here, is the rug that's woven, assembled from ceramic elements. This, I think, is something truly authentic, genuinely Guatemalan. Everything else is a bit too ethnic. At least, that's how it seems to me again. We continue wandering through the narrow streets of the Marais district. Here, I popped into several galleries, and honestly, each one has something interesting to offer. Again, there's a Chinese gallery with all sorts of bamboo crafts. Mainly, they have small decorative objects, including jewelry. But there are also some rather striking large pieces. These are genuinely large decorative objects, shaped like some sort of climbing vines, and a very charming armchair. In another gallery, there were works made from wool, and they were completely different kinds of items. I mean, obviously, things like rugs are clear enough, and upholstery too, that's all straightforward. But also, including lamps, which are felted from wool, look very nice in my opinion. It's rather unusual that a real estate agency is also taking part in Design Week. But this isn't your typical real estate agency, it's one that offers practically everything turnkey. So, first you buy a property from them, then they offer you an architectural project, and they also furnish and enrich it with art. And for Design Week, they've put together an exhibition of 10 different designers, 10 different items, all quite attractive, really. Some might be a bit less striking, but still, the very phenomenon of a real estate agency taking part in this event is quite interesting. I also visited Buier Gallery, and I actually have a personal story with them, because some time ago I bought a lamp at their exhibition in Belgium, which I really like. Here, they're presenting a solo exhibition by Georges Moiseba, and the collection is called Whisper of the Forest. And it really is a very well-crafted whisper, I must say. These are genuinely brilliant pieces, especially from a design perspective. It's clear that the inspiration comes from nature once again, but also in terms of execution, and a wide variety of media. It's quite skillful work with solid wood. There are also some brass elements, and glass as well. So, it's not just furniture pieces, but also a light fixture. There are very expressive, truly impressive facades made from clay. All in all, it's really quite unusual. What's also unusual is the wood staining itself, because it's a gradient stain. Overall, everything matches the image and the concept of Whisper of the Forest. Hôtel de Marine is a former royal furniture warehouse. Quite the warehouse the king had, it turns out. So, on the occasion of Paris Design Week, Jeremy Prodhomginot, a decorator, decided to create a labyrinth here. And so he built a labyrinth right in the courtyard of this Hôtel de Marine, using fabrics for it. There are some outdoor items inside. Basically, he put together a selection, in his opinion, of the best examples of contemporary French design, savoir-faire, and so on. And of course, he arranged them not only in the courtyard, in this improvised labyrinth, but also in the labyrinths of corridors and grand halls of the royal warehouse itself. And, in fact, it really does look quite astonishing. In these luxurious, gilded, carved spaces, there are items of contemporary design. And it's not just furniture, there are also light fixtures, fashion pieces, and fabrics. And not only is the interior space thoughtfully used, but also the loggias, which offer an absolutely stunning panoramic view of the magnificent Place de la Concorde, and, of course, further out to the Seine River and our beloved, iconic Eiffel Tower. All in all, it's a really cool and memorable event. I enjoyed it a lot. The only thing is, to get in there, you need to buy a ticket for one of the regular exhibitions. And you really shouldn't pass up this opportunity either, because I bought a ticket for the Alfoni Collection exhibition, and it is absolutely stunning in its own right, with absolutely amazing scenography. And the objects, in this light, in this ambience, in this space, look simply magical. So I didn't regret it, not even for a second. And next time, I recommend keeping an eye out for announcements about what's happening here, because events like this take place regularly. Last year, for example, the installation was done by the trendy guys from the Uchroni Bureau. They say it was a memorable sight as well. We'll finish today's walk on the left bank anyway. Here the concentration of various showrooms and events is much higher. But before leaving the right bank, I still managed to pop into the Gilles Boissier Gallery. This is the gallery of Patrick Gilles and Dorothy Boissier, which, in my opinion, operates in a rather elegant and truly French style, drawing inspiration from the works of the Impressionists, including, by the way, Cézanne, Monet, and so on. But they really do have a very refined color palette, and, I would say, a very distinctive design. So do make sure to take note of them. What's more, these guys are highly respected and have worked on a huge number of iconic projects. For example, they did the Mandarin Oriental in Marrakesh and the Ritz-Carlton in New York, among others. And here, on the left bank, I managed to pop into one boutique and was very surprised. The thing is, the company Maison, which we're already familiar with and have mentioned in previous episodes about Paris Design Week, it's quite a well-known brand, one of the oldest manufacturers of wooden furniture, classic in style, but at times painted in a very theatrical manner. So, both this company and the showroom were bought by a Belgian company called Van Cronenberg, which is a foundry. For some reason, I had absolutely no idea about them. Although, to be fair, these guys are really interesting. They cast their own handles, that is, door hardware and furniture fittings. But besides that, it turns out they also make taps. That surprises me even more. And the taps are distinctive, definitely expensive, but they offer complete customization and full personalization. So, if you need something truly exclusive, it's worth paying attention to them. And by the way, speaking of metal, I also visited another gallery that I hadn't managed to get into on previous occasions. It's called Buier. This is a gallery, a company that also specializes in metal, but they manufacture it in France, in central France. They also work to order, creating various projects with different finishes, and they also release collections that you could call prêt-à-porter. And their new collection is called Cosmo. The collection was created by a duo of French designers, Hôtel and Dufourg. And in my opinion, it also deserves attention because of its rather unusual material for historical manufactories. All the structures are made from aluminium. This applies to both the furniture and the lighting fixtures, but it all combines beautifully with cast glass tabletops. It's quite an interesting, space-inspired collection. I hope that, in general, you found our review interesting. If so, don't forget to give us a like. It's really important. Don't forget to leave a nice comment. Maybe there was something you particularly liked. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're here for the first time, because we've got more design journeys ahead. Oh, and one more thing, share this video with your friends as well. That would really help us out. That's all for now. Bye.